Good
All
night.
right, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. We are going to call this meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. I'm going to call roll. Michael Cashman present. Thomas Wood. Here. Meg Bobbin.
Here.
Barb Hebert.
Here.
Charles Kostek.
Here.
Catherine Colucci.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
Going to go into our first resolution this evening, Resolution 69, Town Clerk Appointment to fill a vacancy. Whereas the resignation of Town Clerk Kevin Patno, effective May 6, 2024, has created a vacancy in the position, whereas Ms. Catherine Colucci, Deputy Town Clerk, is interested and qualified to fill said vacancy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Town Board appoint Katie Colucci effective May 6, 2021, to the position of Town Clerk at the rate of $32,795 prorated from May 6, 2021 to end the year, and it is further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Accounting Department and Civil Service, and that Ms. Colucci shall take the oath of office within 30 days, and be it further resolved that a copy be put into her personnel file and one be sent to the State Retirement Board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Meg Bobbin, is there a second?
Second.
Tom Wood, any discussion? Seeing none. Formal roll call. Mr. Wood.
Yes.
Counselor Bobbin.
Yes.
Counselor Hebert.
Yes.
Counselor Kostek.
Yes.
And myself, Michael Cashman, yes. The resolution does carry. At this time, I'm going to ask Ms. Colucci to come forward along with a member of her family, and we are going to administer the oath. All right. Raise your right hand, put your left hand. Yep. Repeat after me. I, Catherine Colucci,
I, Catherine Colucci,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New York,
of the State of New York,
and I will faithfully discharge
and I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Town Clerk
the duties of Town Clerk
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Did you already put out?
He sprinted.
I can see his dust is still there. Oh, geez.
All right.
Thank
I
you.
will not. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
All right. We are, before we advance any further, before getting to public comment, I know our town assessor, Brian Dowling, is here just to give some brief comments regarding the annual roll. So,
I would have to imagine everybody here received their letter. I guess the best way to say it is the state of New York gives us guidelines, and they will fix the assessment roll the way they figure, as happened last year, if I don't perform the job of keeping us within those guidelines. Last year, they equalized our assessment roll at 90%. So basically, you saw your assessment, and if you divide by 0.9, it gave you full value. An analysis of our town last fall showed us to be at 17% behind the level of assessment of 100. So if I have done nothing, the assessment roll would have been equalized again at 83% going forward, with next year to come. So I went ahead and finished a project that involved 4,218 letters at the end of it. So the town, in its essence, had everything raised. We had ag, residential, vacant, assessment roll 1, 2, and 3. Of the three sections of the roll, that I'm primarily property, the responsible for. 400 series is the commercial, that was left aside for now, and the not-for-profits were left aside because the volume of work. The total assessment roll has tentatively been moved to a little bit more than $146 million, 146.5. That's significant for the town, and we are hearing the reverb from the letters sent out. If we look at it, the biggest issue that I have faced over the last few days is the fear that that assessment change equates to the same tax rates we had last year, and they do the math. And if the assessment change was $10,000, they're seeing $35 a thousand, whoops, there goes my taxes. I think the only way I can present this, as I have done several times, is that the budget is responsible for our taxes. And we're all diligently working at what we do. I know that, I've been here through budget many times. And the easiest example I can give is the budget, we needed $6 next year. And we're gonna figure out what the rate is. And Brian has assessed you at $1. So we take the 6 and divide by 1, and I have a rate of $6, right? Well, that's what's today. What Brian did was foolishly double everybody's assessment and made your assessment $2. But the governor has put the 2% in. So our budget is at $6.12 maximally. So I take 2 and I divide it into the 6. Now my tax rate is $3.06 a thousand. And that's where people are not understanding what has just taken place here. The town moved up. A lot of taxable money is going to go in to the equation to divide to that budget. And we're going to come out with a pile of new rates for the water, for the fire department, for your general fund. Well, we don't carry a general fund, so not that side of it, but the county will see, the school districts are going to see this extra revenue in their budgets, and we should be able to see some rate decrease if they're all staying in that 2% realm of their budget. And that's pretty much the biggest picture, because the numbers are derived from a computer system that is actually relatively really accurate, although not everybody's going to agree with that. And there are flaws, I found some in the program itself, but if you're using a state thing and it's provided throughout the state of New York, every entity has a different parameter for you, the way to use that program. The city of Syracuse is not the same as Plattsburgh, but they're using the same program. So you have to understand that we're following direction. A lot of my direction is given by the state of New York. And if we don't stay in that 100% realm, then the equalization rate, as we found today, confuses the population, and it changes the way Patrick does his business for your accounting. It changes the way my ag and my veterans and all the exemptions I have, and it equates, you know, the numbers aren't higher or lower, it just swings things where people are not aware of where they stand. Today has brought everybody to the table, and the table has gone up one floor. Basically, the whole town has elevated, and that's why we sent 4,000 letters out, because the whole town is affected. Now, the sad part is, my evaluation that you see today was as of July 1, 2020. The assessment field is the caboose on the train of the market. And the market can come down and go up, and the assessor's following that. Yes, I do reduce values. There are neighborhoods here that have seen a complete reduction in the past. Not today, but in the future, if this market's showing a downswing and we do our analysis, I would take the values down. That's something people don't understand. I'm not here to over-assess. I have a data 2018 pictometry has been used to its fullest max in my department. All the data that was on those houses as of 2018, all the physical characteristics, driveways, porches, whatever, either they were added or they were taken off, were corrected within the data. So that was nice, but I mean, we just don't have the bodies to keep up with this physically house to house. So the new 21 is done. I have the hard drive here. It'll be a few weeks before it goes up to the internet, and then we're all able to see it. But it's been done. I could give it to Trevor. He'd be the only one able to use it because he has the GIS. So other than that, that's all I really wanted to talk to you. Is there any questions from anybody here?
Brian, I just want to make sure that one thing in particular is addressed for the public, because there is a grievance process.
True.
Can you just share the?
So by law, I'm required to offer 4 periods of time of 4 hours at a variety of time through this first few weeks. 1 4-hour block on a Saturday, 1 4-hour block that carries 2 hours after 6. So I'm here 4 to 8 one evening. And then 2 other days, which I just changed around because you want the population to be able to get in. The unfortunate event here is that the large number of letters has created a large number of people wanting to say something to me. And I blocked off 10-minute shots thinking we could go quick. The first guy in had 5 questions. So the first day off, I was off. There were people who were really probably very mad at me because they didn't get in to see me, or they didn't wait long enough. Because I worked, everybody was there from 8 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, whatever. It was done. We met with the constituents. If you don't, and you're not going to, because that book is full. All those appointments have been taken up. You're going to have to respectfully ask the people who lined up. If they're going to take more than 10 minutes, you're going to have to wait. But I will go through all of them. Now, if you're not finding resolution with me informally, and some aren't, some do, show me the examples and the pictures and stuff. You can empathize. On the 25th of May, between 4 and 6, and 6:30 and 8:30, there will be, the board of review will be convened, and you can come in and present your discussion to them. And they can overrule anything I've done to this point. So they could change, they're able to change the value. The issue that they are faced with is the public can't just come in and say, mine is higher than theirs next door, or this. They need to provide information about the house, or information about sales that they have used, or in some cases, some people have done home equity or has an appraisal out there that I would review and say, okay, either it's on point, or some wacko from Binghamton came in and did it, and it's not there. And believe me, we've had Binghamton appraisers in this town, so you need to qualify that appraisal by who's provided in a lot of ways. Because not being local, and you're out of Binghamton, you don't know what's going on. And anything else I might have to.
I think that captures it, but I think you would probably restate that people from Binghamton are not wackos.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Binghamton, I have friends down there, I'm sorry.
I know.
It was the appraiser that came up from there, seemed to be a little out of their.
All right. Thank you for coming in and just providing some, additional information. We want to continue to encourage the public to engage with your office, realizing that, there is that separation between the town board and your assessment role and such. But we just wanted to continue to provide the public with good information. If they have questions or concerns, to reach out.
Yeah, and if the town board wasn't happy with what happened, I can do very little on what the equalization rate covered. The problem with that is it's not fair to the population, because a flat trend rate affects property all appreciates at different rates, or depreciation. We're not seeing that right now, but certain demographics will appreciate faster than others. And if you do a trend rate, you're actually skewing who's paying that way. So
Thank you, Brian.
what we did was,
Have a good night.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
enjoy.
Brian.
Thanks for all the time,
Sorry?
today, Brian.
Huh?
Thanks for all the time you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Yeah,
time.
We're
yeah.
gonna jump into resolution
Good night, Brian.
70, approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of April 1st and 8th, 2021 be approved and reading of the minutes be dispensed with.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Wood, is there a second?
Second.
Caustic? Is it any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. At this time, we would accept public comment. Is there anyone seeking to provide public comment? I didn't say this at the beginning, just because the meeting was a little bit different, but we continue to provide opportunities for the public to come before the board using social distancing and best protocol as it relates to COVID safety guidelines for group settings such as this. So we will advance to resolution 71, the abstract.
Resolved that the abstract of audited claims number 5A-21 for $695,735.26, abstract 5A-21 prepays for the amount of $201,564.27 be received as reviewed by the audit committee, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay said abstract.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Bobbin, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Resolution 72, letter of resignation from the town clerk.
Resolved to receive and place on file a letter of resignation from Kevin Patman, Town of Plattsburgh Town Clerk, effective May 6, 2021. And it is further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Plattsburgh does hereby wish to thank Mr. Patman for his past service to the town, and that the supervisor will send a letter of appreciation and best wishes to Mr. Patman on behalf of the Town Board, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the accounting department and civil service.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bobbin, is there a second?
Second.
Bostic. Before we call for a vote on this, I would like to provide some comments. Mr. Patnode has been a public servant to the town of Plattsburgh for over 20 years. First serving as a town justice. In fact, he's the longest serving town justice town of Plattsburgh has ever had, administering over 180,000 cases with no ethical violation and with only one case overturned. That by itself is remarkable. Upon Kevin's retirement of sorts, if you want to use it, from town justice, he was called back to public service and leaned in and wanted to serve this community again as the esteemed town clerk, and did that with heart and dedication like no one else. He recently had a health event that required of him to consider his ability to continue. During this time, he should be fully acknowledged that he was a tremendous help in helping the transition of the new Plattsburgh Community Mausoleum, the former Whispering Maples Mausoleum. He did so with compassion and care, and was such a phenomenal ambassador. In addition to that, and I could go on and on, but he even extended office hours later on Thursdays beyond the traditional workday, because he wanted to make sure that people could connect with the office and to get the resources. So I just used that as a small footnote. He is a remarkable human being. We are sad to see him go, but he also gave a full-throated level of support of our new town clerk. And with that breath, I want to welcome you officially to the team. I had hoped he would have stayed this evening, but I know that it had already been a long day for him. So with that, I'll end my comments and open to the floor.
I'd like to make one comment quickly, just a note of appreciation. I wish I had the opportunity to work with him longer. He was absolutely phenomenal. And this transition, he has come in, was approved for light duty with the doctor. He came in and he did the best he could, and he did a fabulous job. I could run that office and I feel so confident doing so. He was remarkable. And I'm so thankful to him and really look forward to taking him on. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
At this time, I'll call for a roll call.
Thomas Wood,
Reluctantly, yes.
Meg Bobbin,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
And reluctantly, yes.
Charles Custis,
Yes.
and Michael Cashman.
Yes. Resolution does carry. Resolution 73, purchase of fire hydrants.
Whereas the Water and Wastewater Department has fire hydrants to be replaced in order to maintain the town's water system, therefore be it, whereas Kennedy Valve has submitted documentation stating VP Supply is the certified distributor for Kennedy Valve, and it is the exclusive supplier of Kennedy Valve products in the upstate New York market area. And whereas VP Supply, as the authorized distributor for Kennedy Valve and the exclusive supplier of Kennedy Valve products in the upstate New York market area, has submitted a price quotation for 6 Kennedy hydrants. Therefore be it resolved to purchase 6 Kennedy hydrants from VP Supply, Plattsburgh, New York, in the amount of $15,150 be approved, and it is further resolved that payment may be made payable from the 2021 Water and Wastewater Budget Account number SWC.340.2000, and that a copy of this resolution be given to the Water and Wastewater Department and Budget Officer.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Caustic. Is there a second?
Second.
Bobbin. Is there any discussion?
Did we standardize on these, Michael?
Yes.
Yeah, Scott talked to us about it, and it's gonna be the Kennedys moving forward, and there's like 2 or 3 that have to be replaced right now, the others are gonna go into, inventory, because we lose 1 or 2 a year.
That's the only type we're gonna use, so.
Correct.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry, thank you. Resolution 74, request to advertise for sealed bids, water supply improvements 2020.
Whereas the town has obtained both NYSDEC and NYSDOH approval for a production well located within the May Furrier Park. And whereas plans and specifications for the production well have been prepared by Lavarge Engineering and Consulting Group entitled Water Supply Improvements 2020. And whereas Scott Stoddard, Water and Wastewater Director, has requested to solicit bids, and therefore be it resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise for sealed bids for the project entitled Water Supply Improvements 2020, for which bid specifications and non-collusion documents will be available from the town clerk, and that said advertisement shall be placed in the Press Republican with bids to be opened on June 11, 2021 at 11 a.m. at the Town of Plattsburgh Town Hall on 151 Banker Road, Plattsburgh, New York, and be it further resolved that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board reserves the right to reject any or all bids offered. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution is to be given to the town clerk, the director, water and wastewater department, and the finance minister.
Bobbin, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, I just want to provide one point of clarity. This was passed before. We were waiting for some additional information that was not complete, and we wanted to have a good paper trail on this, so this really is a reissuance. So we're not further behind.
I think last time we had just asked for a little bit more clarity within the resolution of the specific project. I'm not sure because it just says,
I believe it's the same resolution actually.
okay.
But I can check on that because I know that we included the May Courier and such. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
So carries. Resolution 75, authorized to proceed with professional services proposal for base highway infrastructure.
Whereas the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board has determined that it is desirable and in the public interest to develop a well-researched process to identify and prioritize effective and efficient use of existing and future resources to promote economic development enhance infrastructure and other town facilities in a manner that will attract, create, and sustain employment opportunities. And whereas the town's consulting engineer, Labarge Group of 4 Computer Drive West, Albany, New York, 12205, will implement services needed as expressed in the attached letter for an amount not to exceed $9,800. Therefore, be it resolved that after review and recommendation by the town attorney, the supervisor be given authorization to enter into an agreement with Labarge Group to proceed with said proposal on behalf of the town of Plattsburgh. And it is further resolved that copy of this resolution is forwarded to the Labarge Group Highway Superintendent and Finance Manager.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Hebert, is there a second?
Second.
Costick, just for a point of interest, part of what this may provide is there are 2 funding programs that may be of interest to the town. These include green infrastructure grant program and GIGP, which would potentially pay up to 90% of the infrastructure cost of this project. And there's another opportunity that would pay up to approximately 50% of it. So this is why we're looking at this, as we continue to turn over every stone and look for opportunities. And I would dare say that our water capital project is a great demonstration of how we think very smart about how we leverage our studies. They don't just sit on the desk collecting dust. We really leverage those to move things forward along with our resources. So, and hopefully we'll get some good stuff going. All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So does carry. Thank you. Resolution 76, request the rescinding of the New York State fiber right-of-way fee.
Whereas the 2019-2020 New York State budget contained language that enacted a right-of-way use and occupancy fee for any fiber optic cables located in or crossing a state-controlled right-of-way, and authorized the New York State Department of Transportation to enter fee-bearing permits with fiber optic installers. And whereas the 2019-2020 state budget also added Section 7 of the Transportation Corporation Law, allowing the DOT to charge fiber optic corporations installing and operating the utility lines for fair market use and occupancy of the state right-of-way. And whereas in early 2020, organizations, businesses, legislators, and residents of northern New York became aware of the fee because the DOT started charging the fee. And whereas in the rural counties of the North Country, it's virtually impossible to install fiber optic cables for any distance without utilizing or crossing a state right-of-way. And development requirements within the Adirondack Park almost entirely preclude installation of broadband in any location other than an existing state right-of-way. And whereas the coronavirus pandemic has caused more people to be working from home and more students to be learning from home, and has increased the use of telemedicine, thus magnifying the need for additional broadband services in unserved and underserved areas, so rural residents can engage in everyday activities. And whereas Governor Cuomo in his 2021 State of the State address championed his connectivity agenda, which includes, among other provisions, enactment of a requirement for affordable internet for low-income families, and a series of actions to promote broadband build-out and market competition. And whereas the governor said, and without affordable broadband, people are not just disconnected, they are disenfranchised. Broadband must be available to everyone, everywhere. And in New York, we will make sure it is, and will. And whereas the DOT fiber right-of-way fee is acting as significant financial deterrent to broadband build-out in rural areas, with some projects already canceled and others put on hold due to the fact that these fees will cost providers hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, millions of dollars annually. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of Plattsburgh formally opposes the enactment of the DOT right-of-way fees on fiber optic cable and urges the governor and the New York State legislature to rescind the right-of-way use and occupancy fees on fiber cable immediately, so that the governor's pledge can be fulfilled. and the expansion of fiber network in the North Country can continue in order to serve critically unserved and underserved areas.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Bobbin, is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say.
Call for a roll call vote?
Yep. Roll call vote?
Tom Wood,
Yes.
Meg Bobbin,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
and Michael Cashman.
Yes, resolution is carried. Thank you. At this time, I know of the need for an executive session to discuss the particular work history of 6 individuals. Is there a motion to the effect?
So moved.
Costick, is there a second?
Second.
Wood, can I get a roll call, please?
Tom Wood,
Yes.
Meg Bobbin,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, we will enter executive session at 6:32 PM. No action to be taken. Thank you very much, and we'll give Katie an opportunity to shut off the recording stuff. Thank you for coming tonight, folks.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Good work. Thank you.